Here's version 14 on Space Game. So in this version I want to have some more missions, mostly to go through the process of building a mission and suss out what I can and can't do with the current logic tools I have, and what I actually need to add in order to what code I need to write to support a more diverse types of missions. And the thing was the initial mission deployment. So putting your fleet into the mission. So first one I put together was this flyby mission where this big cylinder, if you squint your eyes and use your imagination, it's a space station. And these red discs are waypoints that you fly through to do a flyby. So as you pass through them, they disappear, and when you've flown through them all, the mission's done. And the story is like a friend of your family has asked you to do some flybys of the space station to impress the kids who live there, because they want to recruit more people for the pilot school. So that's one of them. And the other one was just some cargo that's in a bit of an asteroid field that is well defended with some turrets around it. So it's a bit of a challenge for like occluding yourself behind stuff as you approach the target, hitting the stuff and escaping. The next one was, I got a little bit carried away with this one. Ended up writing a city generator that generates these cool big hexagonal platter cities or disk cities. Not really very physically possible with our understanding of physics, but anyway. And so there's some cargo scattered throughout them, and you've got to hunt it down and destroy them. This is, I'll come back to that in a little bit. And the next one was a defend the fighter mission. So there's a friendly unit here, and then there's two enemy units around it, and your mission is to keep this guy alive. So if we start the turn, you'll see that that guy flies off and gets destroyed pretty much instantly. So the story here is that this is a young lord who their benefactors are trying to keep them safe. They want to go into combat and have an exciting time, but they don't want to die. So yeah, there's a couple of missions there. So the city one, what made me so this was educational because it was sort of the first go I had seriously had at doing some proc-gen geometry in Godot. Done it lots before, but this is the first time I've really had to get to grips with like creating all the meshes and the colliders and everything so they'll line up properly and have the right collision layers and so on. But I wanted to add some enemy units to this, but my enemy unit logic doesn't care about collisions at all. So it will just single-mindedly fly towards you and try to blow you up as quickly and efficiently as it can, which doesn't work if there's any obstacles in the way. It'll just plow into whatever it's in its path. So for the next version, I want to add some collision avoidance to the AI. So I'm thinking the way this would work initially would be it would look at its velocity vector, extrapolate it forward, and see if it's going to hit something that might destroy it. And if so, start doing some evasive maneuvers to try to shift its velocity vector into a direction that doesn't have any obstacles in it, and then go back to trying to shoot you. And there might be like a slider there or a gauge or a toggle for how aggressive they are versus self-preservation versus killing the target. Other thing I wanted to do was tie in ink scripting. So I've got a bunch of one of the reason this release took me so long is I got sidetracked on a lot of other things like tweaking how the flying controls work. I made that work a lot nicer and took away a bunch of edge cases around it going crazy when you're facing in certain directions and all that. Fixing a bunch of bugs. But the other thing I did was I wrote a bunch of dialogue for some conversations that I want to put in the game, both just general story conversations and also ones that are tied directly to missions, as in during the mission, and then there are some that happen at the stage where you're negotiating whether you're going to take on a mission or not. So they're all written in ink script. So I'm going to suss out there's an ink plugin for Godot or Godot, or however you pronounce it, that lets you hook those ink scripts into a text box on the screen and then read and write flags out of that, variables and so on and so forth. So you can, on this mission view, you'll be able to pick a mission, and then this would be more of a job board where you'd say, tell me more about this mission, and then you'd have a conversation with the person who's offering it to you, like, suss out how much you want to get paid, or upfront, or afterwards, or get details and that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's what I want to do for the next version, AI collision avoidance, and just tying in the conversations into a text box inside the game. Righto, I think that's about it. Bye bye.